What is cult cinema? How do we define it? Contrary to the popular definitions, cult cinema does not evoke a plot. It evokes an image. These images are not images of crowds at midnight or oozing gore or garish costumes and makeup. Cult cinema's most iconic images are close-ups of the human face. And when we see one of these faces, we know ourselves to be in the presence of a cult film. To paraphrase Andre Bazin, this is the aesthetic secret of cult cinema, what sets it apart. It is a documentary of faces. This is a look at the face of cult.
A candy-colored clown they call the Sandman tiptoes to my room every night, and just to sprinkle stardust and to whisper, go to sleep, everything is all right. I close my eyes.
Critics commonly note cult's fascination with transgression and taboo, of its engagement with the margins of society, where decency and morality get consumed in a hedonistic abyss. These films offer a potent new fantasy that represents a confrontation with this abyss. This encounter is presented best in the portrait of a human face. In these films, some characters gaze into the abyss in dread and terror, unsure whether to recoil or to dive in. They will not last long. And then there are the other faces, the ones who embrace the abyss. Their faces gaze back at us across the abyss, inviting us, daring us to join them on the other side, asking us the questions that we yearn to hear and fear to answer.
Do you have any tattoos, Brad?
This is the face of forbidden knowledge, of temptation, of freedom. This is the face of cult. These faces define cult cinema.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere.
These subversive works act as dispatches from the other side of human understanding, escorting us to a world where our traditions and mores are revealed for what they truly are. Repressive restrictions of our own creation.
It's not easy having a good time.
We need to think of these films as marginal, something remote and apart from traditional experience. But what they show us is the abyss within, the dark spots of our psyche that respectable society has conditioned us to repress. And this is why we crave cult cinema, why we're afraid to look, and even more afraid to look away. We know the abyss will swallow us whole, because it already has. It's not a question of joining or subscribing, because we've been members of the cult all along. These looks that seem so foreign to us are in fact our own. The faces of cult reveal that the movie screen is a mirror, a looking glass that magically looks back. The world of the cinema and our world are juxtaposed to expose our own desires, our inner nature, embodied in the face of a stranger.
You're like me.
Only this person is no stranger. He is our reflection, the one we refuse to see. His smile is a smile of recognition.
Look right through me, and I find it.
We think we only dream the scenes of these films, but the films dare us to be it, to bear witness to ourselves standing on the other side of that divide. In that way, watching a cult film is indeed a strange ritual, for we are coming into communion with ourselves. The self we refuse to acknowledge in the light. We drink the Kool-Aid, and for 2 hours in the dark, we live. It is the same religious experience Emil Durkheim speaks of in the elementary forms of religious life. Profane time is ruptured, and we pass through that physical space of the pitch-black theater into an evanescent space of religious epiphany, where we lose the distinction between the proper and the illicit. And in this religious state, it is where we discover that this distinction between the sacred and the taboo is as hollow and limiting as any definition of cult cinema. For cult cannot be contained. It knows no boundaries. Its face is the face that shatters all restrictions. So is the face of cult transgressive? Or is it in fact transcendent? We are the face of cult. Take a good look at yourself.
I'm a wild and entertaining thing. I'm a bee with the deadliest thing. You got a head and your mind goes ping. Your heart pump and your blood will sing. To let the party and the sound rock on. We're gonna shake it till the life has gone. Roast in my bird to be saved from my trouble and pain. We're wild and entertaining thing. We'll be with a deadly sting. You get a hit and your mind goes ping. Your heart pump and your blood will sing. So let the party and the sound rock on. We're gonna shake it till the life has gone. Roast in my world to be saved from my trouble and pain.